Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, looking a little silly today, I am Cloud Hudson, and I'm going to be your meteorologist for the evening. I look a little silly tonight because I am re-dyeing my hair to match a typical Doppler radar color scheme. I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna look really cool and like a storm on my head. So we'll see how that goes. That will hopefully be posted as a standalone video uploaded to this channel in the next week or so. Let's go ahead and check in on our. Oh, I forgot to change this to a. Let's look at volcanic activity. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a brief update for today. I'm gonna go take a look at our volcanoes today. Still at 29 active eruptions. Mount Abeco has erupted. Mount Ibu continues to erupt. Samiru eruptive activity continues. Same. There's a volcanic ash advisory in Merapi and Dukono. Popo is still spitting out some very impressive smoke plumes, and so is Sangay. Let's see. Let's take a look at. There is a update from the Rearcast Peninsula. Nope, that's, can you give me, ongoing swelling at the Svartsengi area. Seismic activity continues at low levels, indicating free movement of lava through dikes without generating any seismic activity. So the lava keeps pumping out of the system, and it keeps pumping into the system as well. The degassing becomes more efficient with widening vents as the eruption goes on, and the effects of Grindavik, Blue Lagoon, and Hudson. Significant amounts of sulfur dioxide were measured in the area last night, but they decreased significantly. A large pyrocumulonimbus cloud has formed over the eruption site. Vapor clouds characteristically develop over open lava fields, and erupting vents form from the condensation of rising hot air, creating so-called pyrocumulus clouds. When these convectively expanding clouds reach sufficient altitude inside, they transform into pyrocumulonimbus clouds. So here you can kind of see that forming here. Let's see if we've got any pictures of that on the IMO website. That's the continued seismic activity there. Let's see if there's a picture. No. Not going to give us any pictures of the pyrocumulonimbus. Oh, here's a new map of the extent of the lava flow. It is going a little bit outside of the boundaries. So this continued eruption isn't doing nothing. I mean, it is still pushing the extent of the lava out. They are thinking about building up the protection walls a little more. There we go. There's one of the, that's the beginning stage of what they called the pyrocumulonimbus cloud. First, the gases are good cloud gases, and tephra and all those things are good cloud condensation nuclei. So small clouds will form at the surface, but if they get enough vertical lift to break through the cap, they can become like if they get to the actual level where clouds would naturally be forming, they can form into storm clouds, cumulonimbus clouds. So there's those cumulus clouds, and once they get vertical enough, they become cumulonimbus clouds. Very cool. Very cool science there. Here's another good look at the continued active erupting vents. There's 3 or 4 vents that are still the most active. Let's turn now to our earthquakes. And taking a look at Earthquake 3D today, we had a 4.9 here in... the 4.9 is here in... I gotta turn on borders to cheat. That... which country is that? I'm dumb. Well, right here in northern South America. I don't respect borders anyway. 3.4 and another 3.4 and a 2.1 here in Puerto Rico. There was a 2.7 here in, I guess this is in Illinois, 2.7 at a medium depth of 23 kilometers deep. And then we had continued normal level of 2s and 3s making their way through the North American continent. 2.4, 2s, 3.4s, not too much exciting going on. Had a 3.2 out in here in Hawaii. Okay, and then here we get these upper level 4s snaking their way across the Western Pacific plate. So they start down here in south of Japan, and then as we move into the Kuril Islands and in... Okay, well, that's not wanting to show... Yeah. Oh, that doesn't want to show these again either. It'll refresh. But still looking at some pretty deep quakes coming out of the triangular zone formed between around Fiji. We have some very deep 5.2s, a depth of like 513 kilometers deep, 468 kilometers deep, 206. So they're snaking their way out of the center of the earth there. 3.4 in the middle of Australia, and some upper level 4s here across Indonesia and the Philippines. See another 5.1 here north of India in that Afghanistan-Tajikistan border region. And then we saw another 3.1 here in Central Europe. I think that is in Poland there. So, pretty interesting. Also, this is showing us a little bit more of a story across the North American continent. We had a 2 down here in Georgia and a 2 up here in New York and off the coast of Maine. So that is basically the shape of the North American craton we're seeing outlined by quakes. And this is an amount in Alaska that looks like it would be tremors, but this is just of 2s and up I've selected for. So very impressive there. Let's take a look now at our radar. All right. Move me over here. There we go. Taking a look at our radar. Let's zoom out and get a good... Yeah, here we are looking at a lot of flood warnings for the New Brunswick area of Canada and Maine. See that? That's a trough right there. And there's that mesoscale convective system back there, sweeping through. Looks like it'll probably do some sparse. Looks like we've got some sparse snow Oh, one thing I haven't done on here since I've gotten Radar Omega working is I have not gone back and see, this is the colors that I'm dyeing my hair. This is the colors that should be on my head soon. One thing I haven't done in a minute is I haven't taken a look at global weather. So let's actually go back to, let me pull that up real quick. I want to go to Zoom Earth. Sorry it's so late, guys. I'm a little sleepy. Today. See the precipitation map. Oh, well. Let's switch to the one where you can see it. Okay. Ton of precipitation sweeping through the Northeast today. Let's actually look at satellite. Beautiful to see this. You can see the sun setting in. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then let's also take a look here in Madagascar. There is, unfortunately, a very severe tropical disturbance here in the north coast of Madagascar called Gamane. I don't know how to say it, but unfortunately, apparently, up to 11 people have lost their lives in really severe typhoon type conditions here in Madagascar. And let's put that in motion so you can see the scale just keeps convecting. It just keeps percolating up these really tall clouds. You can see it blooming from within, and that's really what we're looking at when we look at sunspot groups. The same kind of convection where it's blooming from within. It's like watching a storm from the top layer of the satellite like this. So, yeah, that is not looking good. It's just been hanging out on the coast the whole weekend, honestly. And that's really not a good sign for the people in that area of Madagascar. And our thoughts and prayers and hopes of safety go out to them and the emergency responders there. Let's see. Let's go now to look at our solar weather, because today we did have another X-class flare. It was around 2000 hours, 2030 UTC time. See if this coronal mass ejection around the same time does anything. No, it's not going to show me. Let's look at the solar flares. Because, okay, in the past 2 hours we've had a M1.68, but did y'all notice this? It was around the late afternoon for the East Coast. We had a X1.12 flare. And I actually forgot to mention, back on the 23rd, we also had a X1.1 flare. So I actually didn't get to report that day, but I just wanted to note that we have seen X flares from this. That's this one, X1.1 with solar flare with Earth-directed CME. But, yeah, we're looking at the top solar flares from region 3615. This has been its first X-class flare that it's produced. So, really looking gnarly over there as it's passed through the Earth-facing disk. It's just developed into quite the... Let's see if they've got a good picture of it. Nope, not yet. See if we can see it on the SDO. I think I saw it earlier on the 131. See if we can see the X-class flare from this little guy right here. I mean, it keeps popping off a lot of different flares. There's a lot of snap, crackle, and popping going on there. And also seems to be communicating with other... There we go. Here, let's watch that again. There. Beautiful. Beautiful. And that was out of the back half of the region. So really recently also just popped off an M flare too. Let's watch this again and look at all the connections this makes. When these flares fire off, you can see other ones kind of sympathetically firing off as well. There's a lot of different connections this is making. Let's see if we can see it on this one. Shows a really nice dynamic view of all the different levels. And we are also looking for a bit of a solar, or we had a solar storm today too. The radio storm levels went up to, I believe we had a R2 radio blackout today. Yeah, we had an R1 radio blackout. And, oh no, yeah, we did have up to an R2 and an R3. Yeah, radio blackout in progress concurrent with the X-class flare. There was also a really interesting thing where the density spiked and the solar wind spiked, which is usually you see them in a reciprocal relationship. Let's see. Yeah, our protons haven't really gone down. I mean, they are going down, but they're not back to normal yet. Oh, I hear the noise. That means that we got a new earthquake. It was at 3.4 at 10 kilometers depth in, again, that same area of Europe. So, that same exact spot. Okay. Let's go back to let's look at our planetary weather today. Today was a Jupiter day, and we are in a Mars hour. We were just in a Jupiter hour, but I elected to do my hair during the Jupiter day and Jupiter hour. So, sorry I didn't get that creative juice into today's forecast. But we've also got a bit of a mystic rectangle in the sky tonight. That is if you count aspects to Black Moon Lilith, which I do because it is an important point in the sky. Again, Black Moon Lilith is the place of apogee, where the moon is physically furthest away from the Earth in its rotation, and that is different than where the nodes are. Currently, Black Moon Lilith is opposed by Venus in Pisces. We've got the Venus in Pisces making a beautiful sextile to Uranus in Taurus, conjunct Jupiter in Taurus. That is opposed by the moon in Scorpio, which means that the moon in Scorpio is trine to the Venus in Pisces action that we got going on. And of course, the other one is the Black Moon Lilith component. So you could think of this as just an isosceles or a right triangle, but it is also a mystic rectangle if you count Lilith as part of your configurations there. So we've actually got a pretty strong, a pretty heavily Mars influenced chart right now. We've still got a stellium in Pisces, and will until Venus moves out of Pisces. So we are still really feeling that Pisces energy. But it is Aries season, and we've got the Sun and Mercury in Aries. We are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, meaning that Mercury is now in the degrees that it will be retrograding over starting on April 1st. So today was a pretty good day to do things, reflect on things, maybe think about stuff that you want to do moving forward and let that really soak in and figure out what your body wants to do. And maybe a little bit of a sleepy day, if I'm being honest. It might have been the stellium in Pisces is getting beyond beautiful and into just sleepy time land. So hopefully tomorrow will be much more creative energy. Though the moon is going to be moving into squaring Mars in Pisces, and I don't exactly love a moon square Mars, but it's what we're gonna have tomorrow, so looking forward to that, I guess. All right, now let's go back to, this is a very liminal update, so I'm going to just pull a card from the liminal space deck today. Remember, it's that nice Jupiter-y looking ocean jasper I've got on there. All right. I'm gonna shuffle these today. Such a good noise. All right. Pulled the same exact card as yesterday, or 2 days ago. Forgiven. And that was a really long dedication, but basically, not do or do not do. It's not forgive or do not forgive. It already is forgiven. If you can allow yourself to resonate in that reality, it'll be helpful. But everything you've ever done is already forgiven and not justified. But the quote that sticks out with this one to me is, the gazelle does not resent the lion for the hunt. Everything works in cycles of life and death, and don't hold it against yourself if you have to be the being enacting the cycle of death sometimes. You're not bad. It is part of sometimes the dualistic nature of reality. The occasionally dualistic nature of reality. To do things that you feel are bad, but really are things that happen in process. So, I can't wait for you guys to see my hair. It's gonna be really cool, and soon I'm gonna match my weather radars, so that'll be fun. Okay, have a great night. Bye.